we go. Hit the glow light button. Okay. I sent you the folder, but at the same time, I don't even have the folder. There it is. It was just under. It was hidden under Skype. Hi, guys.
I did nothing. I did nothing. I just did what I was meant to do.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Oh, look,
to Trekyards.
We already have more viewers than we had for our best of. I wonder why.
Oh, well, I figured as much, but that's okay. I'm glad you guys are here. We're going to talk about, it's probably one of our, probably the last real big discovery one for now until we think of other topics.
We've done predictions, we've done
point.
theories, we've done reviews, done analyses, we've covered all the small stuff in our videos, the small ones. We've still got 2 more to come out, one of which you're going to love, but it's very complicated. And Stu, I think it's fair to say, real positive season. But this is our chance to call them out for their shit.
We should have probably started with this one and ended with the positive one.
We did that last time.
Oh, did we? Okay.
This time is this way around.
So.
Just like I'm going to start this time and you started last time, which means you'll be the one that ends on stuff. So flip that script.
Cool. Yeah. So we have the worst one go first.
No. I mean, I start first. My 10. You were first last time.
Exactly. So we start with the worst member of Trekyards going first for the worst of discovery. For the best of, we have the best one go first. It's fine. I get it. I understand what we're doing.
In 3, 2. Right. He is now muted because I have the power of that. Then he stops talking, which isn't quite as effective. Fine, you're unmuted.
Oh, look, we have super chats. Great. Do you want to get to those before we share, or do you want to share first?
No.
Oh, okay. Ozzy Medeiros puts in $10. All hail the super captain Foley, and the superior commander. Ooh, watch out for the lady from Superman 3. Fleet Admiral Skeleton Hands. Okie dokie. Welcome, Ozzy. Good to see you. Next. With 1,000 rubles. Thank you very much, Eugene. Turbo Lift Space, the fun.
He even asked
new ways to circumvent logic and to bore, to make things bleed that never bled before.
He's back now. Hello, Stuart. Welcome back. Welcome back.
So you didn't hear any of that, did you?
Nope.
Hello?
Hello. Thank God my internet's stable. Internet?
Hello?
See, with your super chat dollars, we can make sure Stuart's internet gets better. Although it's not really set up to him. Everyone's using the internet more. Great, now I've got to reframe us. Great, thanks, buddy. Oi. Yes, we want to know what you guys think. As we do. And it's fair to say there is more than 10, but we've both symbolised our worst, best 10, 10 best worst. Let's see when he's gonna come back. This is definitely the worst thing about the lives. They're unfortunately limited. Oh dear. Stuart, man, where have you gone? It's my fault, guys, I promise. Where's the... Come on. Brian.
Hello? Am I back?
You look back.
Yay, I'm back. I was trying to do that thing again, but I moved my phone.
Eugene.
We'll try it again from here. Eugene, 1,000 rubles. Turbo Lift Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Discovery production crew. Its continuous mission to explore depth of CGI hell, to seek out new ways to circumvent logic, and to bore, to make things bleed that never bled before.
Dang.
That's brilliant.
Poetic. But yes, certainly a problem in the season. And I'm sure it'll be there. Yeah, Nathan. Yeah, we do like to dance with it as well.
And Olivia Julius, $5. Number one worst thing, no card fertilizers.
I mean, we did see a rainforest. There may have been discovery fertilizers in the rainforest ship.
This is very, very true.
So let's not, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start sharing. You chat to wonderful people.
Please do.
See you in a minute.
Yes. Hopefully my signal doesn't die while I'm chatting with you guys when he's sharing around, because I won't know that it's dead until... Yeah. Anyway. So guys, as you saw, super chats are a great way to get your comment read. So if you want to do that and support the channel at the same time, please consider doing it. Otherwise, just put your regular stuff in the chat, and we will try to read a lot of those as well. But 86 people here, which is great. 43 likes. That's also good, but I think we can get 50 at least. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It's a great free way to support the channel and help us out if you can't super chat, which is fine. A lot of people can't, so it's understandable in these times. Also, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell icon to all. Very important things. And if you want to join the channel, help us on a monthly basis. If you can't afford super chats all the time, but you can maybe do a small monthly thing, hitting that join button gets you some cool emojis and stuff and a badge beside your name and your name highlighted, so we're more likely to read out your comments in the regular chat. And that just, it's another way to help us on a monthly basis. Plus, it shows us your support for the channel, which we really appreciate. Also consider Patreon/Trekyards if you want to try that way, and that's another monthly service as well. Head on over there and check that out. There's links to just in the description of all the videos to all these great ways to support us, including our Teespring store and some other great things as well. So by all means, consider doing those things. And you know, in the description as well, you get discounts for Eagle Moss and a whole bunch of other cool things down there. So check out those links. And like I said, they're in the description of every video we do. Every one. There's a description with things and links and stuff to do. So this should be a fun live. We did do the best of Discovery season 3 on Tuesday. So if you missed that live, go check that out. But we both have our own unique lists. We only had 2 things that matched on the top 10 list. So it's actually, the disparity is quite interesting. Yeah. I'll get to the next 2 super chats as soon as Samuel's back, because he likes hearing the support as well. So, and guys, hit that like button. 96 people here, 53 likes. I think we can easily hit 75 likes. We hit the 50 that I asked for. So I think, you know, getting to 75 likes is very doable at this point. I'm sure more people will join in a minute, and we can get up to 100. So just simple thing. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. Doesn't matter what number we're aiming for. Just hit that like button right away, and shows your support.
Yes.
Samuel agrees with me.
I do. Because you guys are amazing. So click that button.
Yeah, we got a few more super chats while you were gone. Captain Chili Beana, $5.
Good to see you.
Bridge crew didn't get enough lines or focus, especially Bryce and Reese.
Yeah.
They focused on Detmer most, but she's the worst one in my opinion. Yeah, I think Oa needs more stuff than Detmer. Lieutenant Nielsen is fine. They gave her more than the rest of the bridge crew, but you know, she's kind of been there from the beginning as Ariam, kind of. So, give them to Bryce and Reese. Let's get to know those characters a little bit. But Olivia Julius, $5. One thing that Trekyards has that Disco doesn't have: the cutest of pugs. Hashtag puggy treats for the puggy. Thank you very much, Olivia. Oh, she did have a lot of treats today. That's a long story. But...
And slightly a frustrating comment, but sharp is sharp. Can you also do a 10 best things about Discovery Season 3, 2, or is it all about negativity even unreasoned? So,
wow, really?
We did top 10 best things in Discovery Season 3 one day ago on the 19th. It's at 2,600 views, 264 likes. So we went there first, and it's 2 hours long, and it's great. So
who's focusing on the negativity there? Sharpie Sharp?
It's true. Didn't even look. Didn't even look.
Nope. Doesn't care.
I have a challenge for all.
That's why we're allowed to be negative today, because we already did the full positive one.
Yeah. We already, you know, we call it for how we see it. We like it. We liked season 3 a lot better than the rest. So, you know, sorry you only see negativity, my friend.
But go back and watch that one too. But Stuart, let's start with. Are you ready? Are you raring?
I'm ready for your number 10.
My number 10, the least thing I didn't enjoy this season.
Right.
Although my Word document's gone. because I didn't change my notes to last time. Him as well. Okay. My number 10 least thing I liked was Adira not ever feeling like a Trill after episode 4. Never. Never once went to Trill mode, ever again. And I chose the scene where they went actually Trill-esque, and it was completely dropped as a concept. Yes, they might have seen Grey, but that's not what Trill do. There was no sense of this greater knowledge, there's no sense of... and since the whole point of going to that planet was to unlock the memories, they did nothing in the middle to long scheme. Bit of a cop-out, bit of a waste, and I don't know why the actor, that's not specific, was told not to actually infuse any of the personality and just reset it back to the Adira personality. A shame. There may be a reason in season 4, and I hope there is with the whole thing. We did a video about it, about how they're not a normal non-Trill, but it was there and then dropped. That's a shame.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think you answered at the end there, saying that it's a good lead-in, it's a good build-up to season 4, a good plot point there, especially with the Grey issue and her being a human, Adira being a human, and so there's a lot going on there that needs to be worked on, and I've got a whole season to do it.
But we can only judge them by this season, and they've still failed to pay off this season. And it doesn't, you know what I mean? They can fix it in post, as it were, but they let themselves this year with the lack of making sense for that.
No, I totally agree. But yeah, hopefully it does carry over into season 4. But as of right now, you're absolutely right. It was definitely, it's like when we did the Picard plot points, plot threads that went nowhere. There was so many in Picard.
There's a whole life season, about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This season for Discovery, there was not so many.
No.
There's 1 or 2, but like I said, they're still there. They're not dropped completely. They're there for season 4. So anyway, yeah.
Simple.
Olivia throws in $5. More puggy treats for the puggy. Do not deny the puggy her treats. That's how you get hurt.
Olivia, do you want to take care of a fat pug?
Probably, yes. Her answer would be yes.
She can take him, but she can take the little girl in her truck.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
Can be her like a co-pilot.
She's got a stuffed llama that she has right now.
The no drama llama?
The no drama llama, I guess, is her llama friend. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so my number 10. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Hit it. Did you hit it already?
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah. Ha. And as he says that, his internet goes.
Okay, hold on. You're frozen on. Just give me a second. I don't.
Sorry, guys. As we know, most of the world's currently on the internet right now.
I can hear you kind of. You're kind of breaking. There we go. There, I'm back. All right, cool. God damn. All right, so it's working. The animated GIF thing.
No.
Sweet.
Just a still. This one's just a still.
It's supposed to be an animated GIF, but that's okay. It's her saying, "Let's fly." I thought that was the lamest. They built up the Saru thing to what's your saying going to be? I'll punch it. No, it can't be that. Like, that was all in one episode, mind you, but still. Just the "let's fly," just, what is she, a stewardess? Like, it just doesn't work for me. Unfortunately, as a captain, fly her apart then is better. Sulu had it right. That was Sulu's. I don't know. I found the saying to be lackluster at best. Kind of as the last line in the season, it was meh.
Vindor. Funny. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, there I'm back. God damn.
Now, was this a similar thing whereby you also had a gut reaction list, so you didn't rewatch anything? You're just pure like gut reaction.
Yeah, these were all gut reactions. On the same day I did the top 10 list. I didn't go back and change anything. I just went with my first thoughts, thinking back to the season. I didn't go looking through the episodes or skimming through them to find anything. I just went with what my gut said.
And I made a list as well that same day, but I didn't end up changing it. I thought I was going to reorder it. Nope, I ended up thinking it works fine. Right. So yeah, you picked a very small moment. Okay. Yeah.
As I tend to do. There's certain things that are just annoyances to me.
Yeah. For me, it wouldn't even occur to me. It was. I mean, that's never been a catchphrase until it suddenly was in JJ. So the fact that it wasn't a catchphrase for 45 years, it's not a catchphrase. I don't.
But now all the captains have to have catchphrases. Like all the ships have to have windows.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
there you go.
Picard was the one that started the catchphrase with "engage and make it so," because that's just how he carried himself. It just came across that way. Kirk never had one in TOS. He only had 3 seasons compared to Picard's 7. So
But we did talk about this briefly recently, but I would not say them catchphrase, just something he said, which they then made into oh yeah, he says a thing. Like he said it, they didn't intentionally make it be a thing he said as like a
until it was
"Ooh."
the thing he said, like
In-
4 seasons in, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, yeah, make it so as a thing. Yeah,
But that was
exactly.
more him saying it rather than everyone saying. Like Janeway and Sisko didn't have anything, neither did Archer, so it wasn't a thing until 09. Just Picard had a thing he liked to say.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of good ones like, let's see what's out there, and
Mhm.
can't be afraid of the wind, Ensign.
And there's coffee on that nebula. You know, there's lots of good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But those are,
But
yeah,
they're not used every day.
and they're not every time you go to warp you say, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. My number 9.
Want to do super chat before number 9? Though?
Absolutely, jump in.
All right, Fat Produce $5.
Hey, good to see you.
Let's fly is what I said when I went to go cancel my CBS All Access subscription.
I like it.
You should have said you're grounded instead. It's, pilots, go ahead and fly, or you're grounded. So there you go.
Nice. There's almost super chats to it.
Mm-hmm.
2 more now.
Bum, 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 bum. Whoa, Olivia, Julius, $10. Oh no, Judge 1981. Sorry, $5. Captain, Stewart, and Commander, please earnestly, your catchphrase.
Oh, sleek. You're
Are you
sleek.
asking for?
You're so sleek.
Oh, hey, that's rad. And that's actually my brother's catchphrase. He wanted me to bring back rad, so I started saying that, and now everybody thinks it's my catchphrase, and I think it's stupid.
Sounds
Just
like,
trying to help out my brother.
Sounds like the most successful thing you could have done then.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Anyway, Olivia Julius, $10. Yes,
Thank you.
I'll take the Puggy. She'll be the reason I'm overweight at the scales. And the llama is named Gumball, and she's also lazy. She eats a lot and she's constantly stuffed. Hashtag road llama. Road llama sounds like roadkill. Like you hit the llama and it's spread over like 100 meters of road. Don't do hashtag road llama. Area 51, $5. How about hump it for a catchphrase?
Who would that be?
I'm just going to, that might segue into my number 9. We'll see.
Well, no. Oh, yeah, well, it's my number 9 first.
I know you're first. I know they're saying.
Oh. Okay, jeez. So my number 9. This is another abstract one, so I had to find a picture. And this is one that sort of annoyed us because we assumed things based on all the available evidence, and it was all wrong because they didn't tell us the right evidence. Number 9. Never telling us where anything is, meaning distance doesn't feel legitimate, and we can't understand threat. If everyone is both far, but also close, but also too far to reach, but also a direct threat.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason they didn't go to Terralisium, but they didn't go to Terralisium. And she's not a Terralisium, even though she should have been. And they go to Starfleet Command, but it's the whole season. I mean, vagueness is fine, but the Emerald Chain is in a different quadrant. Why are they still a threat to Earth unless they're multiple quadrant, in which case they can walk quickly? And then if Osira's coming in and they're not coming in, it's like, it's just meaningless. Anyone can get anywhere, doesn't matter. And in a season where FTL is limited, doesn't matter. Anyone can go anywhere, don't think about it. It's like, oh, that's not how that works.
I thoroughly agree. And usually Star Trek's usually good with its distances, and speeds. We've made fun of it in TNG a few times where it's like, warp 6. Yeah, but it's an emergency. Get there hit warp 9, you'll be there in a minute as opposed to 4 hours. Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, for that screen cap, I would have used the big map in Starfleet headquarters for that distance one.
But this is just because this frustrated us. This should have been Terralisium, and we thought it was, because obviously it would have been. Well, there's no reason it wasn't.
That it wasn't.
But there was no reason. So, and they never told us where it was anyway. Just a different quadrant. It's just silly.
Go ahead.
Because how can we feel a threat from anybody if we don't know where Starfleet Command is, and how can we feel that Navarians can get? Because if they're that close to Vulcan, they're obviously really close to them. Then they're not far out at all. In which case, they went to a super secret location just right on the doorstep of Vulcan. Unless it isn't, but that doesn't work. It's a big flaw.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
As you joke previously, they should have made a series Bible, a season Bible, and just worked out stuff.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the conceit is the JJ films also instigated that with let's get from Earth to Kronos in a day. As we said, Star Trek is usually pretty good with distances and times until a script calls for it not to be, and then it's sometimes ridiculous and you call it out as a flaw because it's a flaw.
Yes, it's not a feature. And it would have been fine if this one planet was the great unknown and we never go back to it. Because it was like, okay, it was some distant planet moving on, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is, when it was back to Earth, it should have been more obvious and more clear. And you talk about, just quickly, briefly on the idea of Kronos being less than a day away. That means that, you know, they want to make this big Klingon war movie in Star Trek 3, if the original team had come along, or Star Trek 4 potentially. What does that mean? If the Klingons had attacked Earth, it would have taken half a day for them to get to Earth. Their entire fleet from Kronos to Earth in half a day. It's like, wow, that war's over quick, isn't it? They can just zoom straight to Earth. I mean, like, that's a really shitty movie. It's like, sir, what? The Klingons are on their way. They're going to attack Earth. How long have we got? 2.5 hours. What? We'll get the fleet here. Okay. We'll be here in 15 minutes. Okay, great. We'll end the war today. Oh, they just declared war today. Yeah, but... Pathetic.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Distance is a huge problem with, and it seems big and daunting at first because we hear about the burn and no dilithium, which means no high warp, and it just goes, it fizzles out to nothing.
To a little... So it's like a... Fizzle out.
That was a great sound effect. That was good.
Thank you. Excellent. Great. And if you guys agree or don't agree, let us know. Please do. As you are going on to your number 9.
I am. I can't wait. Okay. I searched for this picture. I was going to get a screen cap if I needed to, but I thought I'd search for it instead because it always comes up with interesting results. I can't say I was disappointed. Number 9 for me is the fact that Burnham was barefoot in the Die Hard episode. It was unnecessary, unneeded, unwarranted, and unwanted. However, when I found this picture, as somebody that has a little bit of a foot fetish, I was quite thrilled. This is season 1 Burnham, you can tell, but Burnham being barefoot in that episode was totally unnecessary and unneeded. Losing a boot, fine, whatever. She could have had socks on. Her being barefoot and drawing that Die Hard comparison immediately bugged me to no end. It was not needed, and I think it was distracting for me because it was Christmas time. I just watched Die Hard. I thought it was going to be more of a thing for the episode. It wasn't. Literally, it was like 4 or 5 minutes of the episode that felt like Die Hard. But everybody's comparing it to that. So that barefoot scene bothered me immensely. That being said, I really, really, really like this picture, and I'm sure there's some viewers out there that also will appreciate it. So I had to go with this one, even though it's kind of a gag picture. I thought it was funny. So there you go.
Wow,
Barefoot.
We're definitely going niche with your ones. Like we're looking at like, so mine's a big old concept, and yours is like 3 minutes of film on which you can only see her feet, maybe a minute of it.
It's how my brain works.
Power to you.
It's how my brain works.
They're
built into the boot. That's a bullshit excuse.
Yeah,
that's just dumb.
That's terrible. That's less efficient than now, and they're in the mega future. They're not in the future; they're in the mega future. And besides, you're still wearing a Discovery uniform anyway, so there'd be. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, for me, it you know, it's such a non-thing that it doesn't bother me because it doesn't mean nothing either way. Like, it's totally irrelevant, you know, to the story. The no socks is odd, but it's better than having a socks that are just like delted over. You know, it's better to have bare feet than just all of the deltas. That would be pissing me off.
That's what I thought. I thought as an argument to this, what about socks? But there would be deltas on them, and then this floor is slippery, which could have been interesting because it could have hindered her in some way. Because I thought the barefoot would tie into like Die Hard, where she has to walk on glass or something. Didn't, you know? It was just a pointless thing that didn't need to be there. And for me, it was very distracting for the moment, unfortunately.
But just the entire sequence of the people going out the airlock was in itself stupid. So there was a disconnect anyway to lose the shoes anyway. You know. Yeah. I mean, you know, again, such a small thing. There are bigger things to fry in my brain. But obviously, I did go through the season, so I guess I've got these more heady themes I reminded myself on.
You're gonna love my list then. Perfect.
Hey, I hope there are different ones. That's what I was excited for. Oh, that's a great stop. We're stuck on. That's brilliant. Still
I can.
There you go. You were stuck on a
there
great
we
still.
go. Yeah,
great still.
Awesome. Better than the one that's anyway. Yeah, I mean the small things I think are more amusing to me. Yeah, the big overarching things are. But these are what came to my mind, unfortunately, for things when I was racking my brain trying to figure out what was the worst of Discovery.
But it's great because you then get to talk about my points. I can talk about your points. We actually it's good. We get more diverse. We get 20 things. Because last season and season 2 of Discovery, it was the same 10 pretty much, and we bitched because they were shitty. The fact that we have lovely little things is a good thing. It's good. So
the freeze frame needs to be a Trekyards meme, says Matt Boardman.
He is with the feet. With the feet.
Yes, yeah. I'm down. Hold on. Before you get into your 8, Ozzy Medeiros though, $5. Now I have a phaser. Ho ho ho. Fleet Admiral Skeleton Hands. Okie dokie. Yeah, that's all it was missing was the ho ho ho.
That's funny. But my number 8 is. Now this is quite a small one. I'll agree. No Lorca in the Mirror Universe episodes, and the fact they fizzled out, because they definitely did fizzle out. He represents what is wrong with the end. And obviously, you know, I'm not a fan of the Lorca character because he's a shitty Starfleet captain on purpose. But it was clearly built up that way. Clearly, beyond clearly. And so to not use him, and as I said before, they had to have the guy, he get captured, and then Burnham goes to him, pulls off like a necklace, the holographic thing comes off, it's actually Lorca, ha ha ha, and then she hands Lorca a pistol, she shoots, could have been an epic finale. I'm sure he was available, I'm sure he could have flown there, I'm sure he wanted to do it. Big mistake, and I don't know why. I guess they're going over budget, I guess. I can't see why that wasn't. It made more, thematic sense, and that's if you're trying to end the Mirror Universe arc, he's the key to that. So yeah, big letdown, and I don't understand why.
Yeah. Tavor says this top 10 is painful. We'll get to 5 in an hour. Yes. Most of our lives are 2 hours long. We like to discuss things instead of just, so here's a list.
Yeah.
So
what'll be the point in that?
I don't know why you're here if you don't want the discussion. But
yeah, we have a love, because then you also get your chance. If we jump through 10 and then say, what do you guys think? Well, what about people that come in 10 minutes late, don't see the list, and say, what's your list, guys? Whereas now they get to be part of the conversation, talk about it with us as we go, etc. Because we like the conversation, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 174 people here with 87 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get it to at least 120. I'm sure we could do. And yeah, put in your thoughts about if you agree with us, disagree with us. If you want to super chat some of the things you disliked as well, that's a great way to be part of the discussion. So, all right. So I totally agree with you with Lorca. As you know, I love Lorca. The actor is also great. That's a great conversation with him in Vegas. But I really was expecting the character back for that first Mirror episode. And then when he didn't show up, I'm like, he's not going to be in the second one. I think I even said as much. I was hoping he would be, but I was saying he won't be. You kind of held out hope a little bit, and I really wish he would have been.
Yeah, I was using the fact they impressed me with Spock being it. Like, they showed logic, you know, but was not to be.
Yeah, the Spock being in it was pandering, I think.
Boo.
Not so much as hearing Leonard Nimoy's voice at the end of the transmission from Starfleet, like in episode 2 or 3.
So people say anyway.
What? But then it became quite noticeable. Okay, so that is your number 8, right?
Yes.
No. Yes. Okay. So my number 8. If you're gonna.
I haven't seen these, so I have no idea what they are. So I'll wait for you to say it, and I'll click into it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My number 8 is Osiris Chin. At least on the view screen.
I'll zoom makeup. Then. I'll zoom. Hold on.
Please, yes. Her makeup was atrocious, unneeded, and very distracting because it didn't match scene to scene. There were scenes where she looked quite attractive when she was on Quajan, when she was doing that final battle with Burnham. I don't know why they felt the need. It almost looks like a different actress, and it really draws me out of it. I don't know if it's some kind of holographic trickery. I don't really know what I look like, but she's very unattractive on that view screen with that huge ass chin. I'm so sorry. but that's a very small thing again that you're probably like didn't expect that. But yeah, that's one of the things that again these are things that act me and annoy me and pull me out of the moment because like even in that episode, the exact same episode when she's on Quajon, her face is much more like she's much more attractive. I don't understand why they chose to do this. Orions don't need prosthetics, guys. Just so you're aware, they're green. That's it. You don't have to add things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Tendi look pretty two-dimensionally thin. No, I mean, yeah, we talked about it at the time. It's confusing me. She's the makeup was a disservice to her anyway. She never looked great in it. But I think a lot of her dialogue was so stilted that she couldn't do much with it. But yeah, there's such a difference in her visual look between filming on Quajon, this sequence, and her last stuff. Either they change her makeup halfway, maybe she had an allergic reaction to some latex. It's very strange. Or this is a CGI deep fake to make another actress look like her. I mean, again, I would not have considered this. It's incredibly small. And it was a while ago as well. As in,
it's big though. See how big it is? Like it sticks out to here.
And then I think it's fair to say she was originally on my list just as a generalness. She's a very non-good villain. I mean, you know, the Control Leland is a bit better, but that doesn't say much. You know, they haven't been very good at villains. Admiral O is shitty beyond belief. Nissa, whatever her name is bad. Narek isn't very good. Like they're bad at villains, and Lorca is good until he isn't. He's shitty at the end. I don't know why they can't do villains. Like they're not good at doing villains. These teams, you know, the best villains we've had onto the Packlids.
Yeah,
and that in itself is not an achievement.
They elevated her for one scene.
Yes,
her scene with Vance and the whole armistice thing was great. And then it just fizzled out again for the next episode. It's like, see, intellectual villains are better than action villains. That whole bit proves it. Ducat is much more sinister because he's not an action villain, really. Anyway, continuing on.
And Naysay never, Stuart, if you want to read out that comment.
Which one, Naysay?
Naysay.
Where is it? Oh, Naysayer. Glad you guys are doing your top 10s again. Will you do them again before? Also with 5 each. No, these are definitely 10s. We did 5 each for the top 10 videos to make them shorter, because we do like to discuss the points as well. But you know, these are going to be 10 each. And we do,
and we've done these every time for the new shows. We may do live versions of those other top 10 things. I mean, quite a lot of our things have been like best uniform, best bridge. Like there's been so many more now.
Yeah. And it's more fun to do it with an audience. We didn't have the lives then. We didn't have the interaction. So those are the ones we could definitely go back and revisit for sure. So
maybe not necessarily 2 hours, or like maybe an hour and a half and then a half an hour just chit chat, which always we do like to do. This isn't necessarily symbolizing a brand new style of live, although maybe, who knows, maybe. Okay, cool, Osira. My number 7. What is it?
No, Osira's chin, not Osira. Osira's
Sorry,
chin.
yes. Osira's chin in some scenes.
Yes.
My number 7, worst thing. Tilly becoming EXO. 1 year from becoming an ensign. For that, just a cadet, right out the academy, going over literally everyone else that outranks her. It's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. It's not smart. It's not clever. It proved to be a mistake. She's a good yeoman, but that's not a promotion. Considering her arc in the seasons, it's shite and she's bad, and I'm glad they've walked away from it. I hope this makes her think in season 4, I don't want to be a captain for at least another 30 years, and she can focus on something more interesting. Everyone on the ship is a better. Every single person on the ship had a better claim to the throne, and I rewatched the scenes. It's really embarrassing to watch everyone be like, "Yes, Tilly, I've worked in Star for 30 years, and you too, and you, because I trust you." It's like, shut the fuck up. You're stupid people. So it's just embarrassing. Only number 7, but it's absolutely up there as one of the stupidest things this season. Now, it could have been done great in season 7, etc., etc. No, bad in almost every way.
Yep. I mean, it's on my list at some point, so that's all I'll say about that.
Jeez, I thought you were gonna not have it at all. Because you like Tilly. Ooh.
I do. Just because I like a character doesn't mean I don't think things are stupid.
Sometimes
Come
that
on
is
now.
the case, though.
But I always have justification. So
Yes, you
shut
do. Okay.
We might
Fair
not agree with
enough.
it all the time, but let's go to my number 7 then, because I'll talk about that more when I get to my
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
my number.
Yeah.
My number 7 is all the trans warp junk. Now, it's not made clear if this was a
Oh,
deliberate thing to stop, let's say, an invasion from the Borg, whether this was the trans warp wars, whether this was all
That's
happened
cool.
because of the
I
burn.
like. Hold on. Transport Wars. Great name. Good job. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Whether this happened because of the burn, these were all ships that had active warp drives because they're doing transwarp, and they just got destroyed in the corridors. Hence, can't. But just the fact that it hasn't been cleaned up, addressed, or really explained until the end of the season was quite annoying. It could have been a simple line at the very beginning: can't use the transport corridors because they're cluttered with junk, with ships, whatever. You need a line. That's all you needed instead of these little drops. You know, the chances of transwarp aren't very good. Okay. There's a 50-50 chance. Okay, thank you. Now all of a sudden we're using it. Oh, by the way, there's a Wanderer class ship in front of us. What's left of it anyway. Our shields are down to 20%. There's no way you can get around it. Reconfigure the ship and fly around it. Anyway, yeah. So just the transwarp corridor junk stuff was annoying to me for multiple reasons.
You know, it should be like the scene in Empire Strikes Back when 3PO starts saying the odds, and Han says, "Never tell them the odds." And then at the end of that scene, he says, "So what were the odds?" "Oh, 1 and 2." "Oh, you should have told me the odds then."
Yeah.
Really easy. But it sounds dramatic. We say, "But sir, the odds are..." "Shut up." 1 of 2. "Oh, okay, it's fine."
Yeah.
No, it's you know, they think they're being clever. Sometimes classic, they think they're being clever, but they're not, and it ruined. It really hurt the pace of those seasons. And we were really excited about how they were going to get back. The answer is doesn't matter. Quick, easy.
Yeah.
It is that classic thing of super easy, barely inconvenience because they have to. They weren't smart enough to think of a way out. Now, if they'd set up Transwarp, every 3 episodes have a line about it rather than the once.
Yes.
You know, if Saru says, "I'm reading about this transwarp thing," and Sam says like, "Oh yeah, I read about it. Yeah, there was a transwarp wars 90 years ago. This race called the Borg were a real threat, and they had to." Oh, that sounds. I should read up about it. Yes, you should. History's really interesting. Just build it in to then have to set up the fact that wow, if Saru risked everything to come here, and then wow, we are risking everything to get back.
Or
full spot otherwise.
Or even a line like, because we had the captain's meeting with Vance at Starfleet headquarters, even a line saying such and such a ship is now disabled due to having to use transwarp. They've got damage and they're in a cell and
You need to go rescue them.
They're months away from a repair facility. They're limping back. Something like that.
Yep.
Just a little.
That's great. That's really good.
We got some super chats. James McGill, $2. First known Orion woman is the witch of the witch in the Wizard of Oz. That's the problem. Sarah drew me out of it because she looked like the evil witch. Like,
yeah, and her acting wasn't very good, which doesn't help. It's
no.
annoying because
the hairline kept changing. Like it was cut way up high and then it was lower.
It does reek of reshoots, honestly.
It does, yes.
Which is weird because she's so inconsistent. You'd think you're trying to fix that. It's sad because Tendi and the other Orion, not the cousin, although he's pretty good, but the guy I meet in the first episode who's like kind of quirky, much better at being Orions, much better.
Yeah,
she's one of the weird.
Yep. Eugene, 300 rubles. Ducat is a way better because he's not a mustache twirling fake, but genuinely scary real person who considers himself to not be evil but good. Yeah. You're never sure of his intentions. Did he think he was doing the right thing, even though it still wasn't? Like, yeah, Ducat's an amazing bad guy, perfect villain. Him and Kai Wynn together, just those two. Anyway,
Can't stand the Cohen character though.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan personally, but
I will skip any scene. I'll skip any scene she's in. I have no interest in watching that person. I'd like to meet the actress. I know she's pretty old right now, but but I don't know anything but drawing really. And Eric says,
go ahead.
Again, the writers have no sense of scale. Transit conduit is so small that if the ship will block it along a significant portion of its length. Yes, and also, we've seen transit conduits at all sorts of lengths. or widths. If you can have a transport conduit the size of a Borg cube, wouldn't part of the solution just to be to extend the conduit via your internal, you're either generating a transport conduit or entering one, but why is it one that small? Just go into a bigger one. Like, if there are ones as big as a Borg cube, I doubt there's enough, wreckage to fill up a Borg cube-sized transport conduit, so much so you can't fly through it. That would be trillions of tons of whatever.
And we never got an explanation too as to how it works. Is the wreckage traveling through transwarp? Is it static? If it's traveling, why hasn't it moved on past the point where the corridors are useful? Is it a circular corridor so it keeps flying around? Who knows?
Stuart, they don't know.
Yeah.
And that's an issue.
It is. Sharpie Sharp, though, says, the longer I listen, I regret my complaint at the beginning. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. So thank you for still being here.
Yes, and go to the one for lots of positivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they are balanced. My number 6. Burnham's mum being on Navarre with a very poor explanation, and Burnham just being friendly with her, despite having only spent 1 day of time with her in the last decade of her life. Because as we know, it was Minnie Burnham when she was, I think, like 7 or 8, when the mum died and the dad died. And then she was adopted and lived on Vulcan, etc. for the next 15 years. And then Michael's mum appears in the Red Angel suit. They have a very dramatic couple of hours of conversation over the course of an episode, or 2 episodes. Oh, an episode. But for the most part, Michael Burnham's mum's been like, "You're dead to me. Don't care. Don't talk to me," pretty much. And at the end, they have a breakthrough, and then she goes back into the future. And in this episode, they're all like, "Mom, daughter, let's hug," despite, I don't know you. I mean, I know she's seen Michael in alternate timelines, fine, that's fine. But Michael has no, if you're meeting, I mean, yes, you could force it and say, just the pure emotion makes you want to connect, but they're acting as if the actresses became friendly offset while filming their scenes, and then pulled that all in. Completely unearned. Doesn't make sense when travel is limited, why these colonists on whatever the planet was called would willingly take her with limited resources to this random human to Vulcan, which is also very far away and takes a long time, and then no one cares. It's shit. It's total shit, and she couldn't even be in this timeline as well. There's also that problem. It's just they didn't care. They didn't care. They didn't want to explain it. And all you needed was a slightly longer explanation scene because it needs a good explanation, and they failed.
Yep. I feel the closer we get to number 1, we're gonna have lots of stuff matching up. So that's all I'll say about that. You want to? I agree with you.
Good.
My number 6.
Okay.
Is Tilly being promoted to XO?
Oh, give your rant.
Yeah, totally uncalled for. She definitely makes a better yeoman, like an assistant to the captain, than an XO. I understand they tried to set up that, she could be trusted because Saru and her had the conversation earlier, but where Michael went and she put the needs of the crew over her friend or, whatever. So I kind of get where they were going with that. Even the build up from the second episode of the season where him and Tilly are walking to the bar. And he says, I'd rather have nobody represent Starfleet to come with me than you. Like, you're the perfect representation. So they were building this up kind of in their own mind as to be like the XO is a good decision. It just wasn't played out properly, and she just got promoted to ensign at the end of the last season, and got put in the command training thing. She even says when she gets offered the XO position, I haven't even completed my command training, So she even knew it was stupid. So yeah, as much as I love Tilly and, her, one thing from season 1, one thing that not a lot of people know about me is I'm going to be a captain one day. Yeah, well, hey, how's it going? You got to go through the steps there. And apparently that's not how Starfleet works, because even in Lower Decks, you can just, you got a visiting captain to your ship. Oh, they can select any XO. Oh, let's select an ensign. Mariner, you want to be my XO?
Obviously, though, there's a slight difference. They both did captain at the same time. She was obviously at least 10 commander at one
That's
point.
true.
And she's at least 15 to 20 years older than Tilly. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that one. You can at least answer that one. This one, not so much.
Yeah, there's too many holes with this one. I see what they were going for. It just did not land at all. And I love how it didn't. I love how Tilly didn't stop Osira at the end and be like superhero captain. She definitely fell on her face and failed. And I think that was good that they did that at least. So that kind of redeems it a little bit.
And even her like by the end, she chats to some people. She does work out where Burnham wants her to go, but then she falls unconscious in a corridor. She's extremely passive in the entire 2 episodes. I know she was always pregnant throughout the season, so to limit what she could do, but it's as if they said, hey, season 1 and season 2 didn't exist, but we remember reading the season 1 Bible where Tilly said she wants to be a captain, so let's just speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least we get scenes, at least they hang that lantern on it where she talks to Stamets and says, how would you feel? And he's like, oh, you're serious? Shit. So at least they themselves in the universe are like, what the hell? I just wish we'd had one more scene of like Bryce and Oa saying, I was on Discovery for a year longer than Tilly. I've said on 4 ships. And I was top of my class, and she's getting XO. Like, I wish there had been one bit of internal. The fact they all
I wish it would have been
support her
Detmer.
Well,
Detmer already showed her pettiness with the whole
but then he wouldn't
Stamets
have
thing.
gone for it as hard because it would have been like, oh yeah, it was just Detmer. I agree, but I think the other people would have made more sense. From come on, really? It's just weird. It's just weird. But maybe they threw her Captain Bone just to prove she can't be, so that we then can afford to change her storyline in season 4.
I would throw her the Captain Bone any day.
Oh yeah, how'd she do?
It's Tilly.
Mm-hmm. But how'd she do in the command training program when you trained her well?
Oh, very well. She was very compliant.
She would take to it quickly and do exactly what you said to achieve the best grade.
She wouldn't. Absolutely, yes. But I would definitely throw Tilly the captain. Gareth Rooney, €5.
Trying to be
the
so
whole
good,
Man of
you
Steel.
ruined it. You just ruined it by going dirty. No.
I didn't do anything of the sort. It's how you interpret it, my friend. It says more about you than about me, my friend. The whole Man of Steel view screen technology is pointless and has less visual detail than a normal TV set. Oh, the programmable matter. Yeah.
Yeah, gimmicks are gimmicks for a reason. As in, they're not,
And we use regular view screen technology, programmable matter, and holograms, all in this season.
Yes.
And I love how at one point, I think last season it was. No, was it this season? Yeah, it was this season because it was old technology. She's like, oh,
how quaint.
View screen technology, how quaint. Yeah.
Which was great. But at least I would rather them do those than do the holograms. I'd rather be limited to view screen. At least it's central and focused.
It'd be cool.
I think they just want to do the Navarre one just because she's a good actress and they had more power there, I guess. But it's weird that was the only time they went hologram was the Navarre.
But you could have done it. You could have incorporated with the programmable matter consoles that they were talking about that they put on the ship. Like have the screen come out with the face, and then have Reese or Bryce, who's ever in control of it, like reach out to the view screen, grab it, pull it down, and it comes off the view screen and forms a hologram. Like that's future tech. You can either have it as a face on the view screen, or you can have it as a hologram, whatever. That would have worked.
Yeah.
Eugene, 100 rubles. It should have been Nielsen. She's already been left to command the bridge before. Exactly. Yeah, we made that point when we talked about that scene.
And do you know how I would have done it? Have Nielsen, but then have Tilly, like, have all the best ideas. And so she's really important in those scenes, showing her command leadership to her fellow crew members. So Nielsen is the default commander. She's got expertise, but she's not necessarily as smart as Tilly. That's how I would have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then at the end you have a scene. This is assuming they actually give a shit about the side characters. And then you have a scene with Nielsen and Saru, and she's saying to him, "Tilly really impressed me out there. I think when we sell things down, make sure she continues her command training. Like she's got something in her."
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
You know, if she was around me, she'd have something in her.
My number 5. Top worst 5 things to the middle value of bad. You ready?
Yeah.
Midway. Philippa Georgiou. Feeling redundant and a forced element until we're giving her 2 full episodes. Now, yes, she's useful in the bar, but that could easily have been Rise or other guy. They both shown. Both could have been those 2 easily. Maybe not they.
Or Linus.
Or bloody security officer who said yum yum when killing somebody.
Ooh, Nan. Yeah.
Yeah, Nan would have been more sense. Like I said, Georgiou felt redundant and a forced element until giving her 2 full episodes. They had the actress. They know she's Hollywood famous. We've got to give her stuff to do. None of it was particularly great, except little bits. They ignored her in most of her episodes. It's an absolutely forced element. We want to get you back in time. Let's spend an entire season and a half committing to it. And as soon as she's gone, you don't miss her. And
That's true.
And when I went back and rewatched it, episode 1, I didn't even think about it. Episode 2, I'm like, oh my god, she's here, isn't she? Oh, instant. Because I completely forgot she was in her character. It's how quick. It's just better without her. Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with that. It's like they came up with the Giorgio thing and then killing the Giorgio and then, Mayor Giorgio, let's bring her back. That's very clever of us. Now she's got to take along, but we'll have important stuff for her to do. Don't worry. Oh, wait, we don't. She's just going to be a snarky bitch. Oh, wait, now she's important for a little bit. And then she's just unlikable and a snarky bitch, as I said, most of the time, unfortunately. That being said, they did make her likable by the end, which I didn't think was possible. They made her kind of redeemable, redeemed a little bit, even though she was unredeemable for what she did. And we still have the Section 31 show possibly to look forward to with her. So her send off was good. The wake was a little bit forced with some of the things that were being said, but overall, interesting idea. We'll see how it pays off in like 7 years when we got a couple seasons of Section 31 show under our belt. But for now, yeah, I can agree that it should be in your top 10 least favorite things.
Yes. And could have been great.
Yeah.
Just wasn't. But I mean, if you have the actress on standby, you can't not use them. But also they're unimportant to most of the plot. Wow, the duality of that. Tricky.
Yeah. So, my number 5 is Michael Burnham's mother showing up. I agree with everything you said. The whole relationship between them felt forced. The fact that she was found in this timeline, which we talked about before, and brought to Navarre, which, ironically enough, Michael Burnham has to go to as well because it was Vulcan. And, just there's too many coincidences, too much bullshit. And the whole, hey, Mom, how's it going? So, me and you are going to work together to get the Navarrians to help me, right? I love the way that her mom smacked her down, though, with the Kuat Malat, absolute candor thing. Good job there, at least. That made the scenes enjoyable. But just the whole fact that it was her mother that also joined the Kuat Malat and just happened to be, know that Michael was there and be the representative. It's just, there's just too many coincidences and too much bullshit going on for me. So, yeah. So we do agree on the Tilly thing and the the mom thing, but they're shifted a little bit for each of us. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So for me, this was number 6, and for you it was number 5. Okay, so that's not far out. Yeah, it's just
and Tilly was number 7 for you and number 6 for me.
Interesting. Yeah, it's just a weird one. Again, they want us to forget about season 2, despite relying on a season 2 character. They had their cake, ate it too, and then we realized the cake was vegan and no frosting of any kind. It was just plain shit sponge. It's like, oh, thanks.
It wasn't vegan. It was a mud cake.
Chocolate mud, though. There was at least some good scenes. That's the problem.
Well,
If you ignore the C's and the logic, she's actually great in it. That's the weird thing. If they started here,
yeah,
or if they thought, imagine if they thought she died and she ended up here, and I don't know, you could have had just so many better things with it.
well, Sergeant Montgomery says maybe the Guardian interfered and placed her mom there. Why? How would the Guardian know that that's important? Because Michael Burnham's the most important character in the galaxy? No, it doesn't make sense to use the cop-out of the Guardian did it.
I mean, at that point, you can use a Guardian for everything. Because it's such a non-thing. And also, it's not how the Guardian works. That just isn't how
the Guardian works. The Guardian was the reason that book with 20% chance of getting around the thing got around the thing, because...
He moved them back 5 seconds in time where the thing was in a different place. Yeah. Silly. But my number 4! Stuart. So now we're getting to the worst 4 things. Picture of them at warp. But my number 4 is inconsistent / non-specific limitations or non-limitations of FTL travel. A bit more specific than, well, bit more general than your debris. I'm just going
to say right now before you say anything else, I hate you.
Oh.
Because anyway.
Okay. Thank
Continue your discussion. Talk about your points.
Appreciate it.
I won't have much to say yet. Here.
That's okay, because you can rant a second time or not. Yeah, you set up a gimmick, and then you don't use the gimmick beyond literally not using it. The FTL is limited, and never quite setting up any of the rules. So all we have is vagaries, which means that the longer you go, the less drama there is. Now I get, once you set up, if you set a very specific rule, right? Fine. Now you're locked in. But at least try and be consistent. You know, if you say he has a recrystallizer at the start of dilithium that's broken, you establish you can recrystallize dilithium. You haven't established how much. Everyone seems to have dilithium, so it's not that big a problem. But not enough. But also they give out crystals the size of this. That clearly no one's trying to power a speeder bike. They're all powering starships with a crystal, clearly. And crystals don't just burn out. Therefore, how far can they go? Well, probably lots of light years. And because couriers are the ones that are transporting everything, you'd assume they could go hundreds of light years potentially, or thousands, or millions, not millions. And they obviously, and a big part of that was just they forgot about everything else. They forgot about quantum slipstream and all the other things. When the premise of the thing is something. Now it's better than Red Angel suit and the control thing, way better, because vagary at least they can kind of re-explain and re-explore. Fine. But it doesn't come together as a satisfying whole at the end.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm glad you agree. So that's my number 4 least favourite thing of this season. And for me, the 4th worst thing that happened. Because when you have a gimmick and you fail it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
What's your number 3, Stuart? 4. Your 4th.
My number 4 is NCC 1864M, the Reliant, the future Reliant, which is one of the ships that was in Starfleet. Talked about that it was the Reliant. I totally disagreed. I thought that was dumb. Apparently, it is the Reliant. Still think it's stupid. So you're telling me that Picard was serving on the Reliant A or the Reliant B before he got the Stargazer? What qualifies the Reliant to get the suffix designation, considering it was stolen by a criminal, and most of the crew was saved, so stolen by a criminal and destroyed by the flagship of the Federation. Let's make a Reliant A, guys. Why? What did the Reliant do? It didn't do fucking anything. It doesn't deserve it.
That's interesting. Didn't even think about that. Yeah.
The only thing, the captain died. Okay. There's reasons that ships get those designations. Voyager was completely understandable. The hearing of Voyager J, that was on my top 10 list for favorite things. This is on the bottom list because dumb. And you're telling me that the Reliant that did nothing special, and it's not a Reliant with a different registry number. It's the NCC 1864. Like if they had done a Reliant that was let's say a Stargazer or a Constellation class afterwards that had a different registry number, which happens all the time because the Defiant used to be the Constitution class, right? if it had it was USS Reliant NCC something 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 dash M, I'd be like, okay, cool, another ship that was named Reliant earned the designation to have that carried on. Fine. The Reliant in Star Trek 2 did not earn it, and I think it's a stupid fucking thing. It's fan service, and fan service not done well. I usually like fan service and don't call it fan service because it's what the fans want. That is dumb, beyond dumb. Plus, we never saw the ship do anything. If it was a major part of the battle at the end or something, then maybe I would be a little bit more forgiving. But unfortunately, it was a quick thing on the screen. Nobody's supposed to notice it. Everybody called it out, like Trek culture and stuff, and I thought, that's stupid.
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
it's still a reach.
that's
You still can't read it. Like, I'm still not going to commit to it's actually the Reliant. You know, like it's not clear enough. You know, they made a point of not making it clear. They also is that a new constitution? This was the ship they looked at. So I'm not even going to commit it actually is that. Although you can certainly see the 4 at the end, etc. And the M presumably. We'll see.
Yeah,
You know?
and Michael Kurst says, could it be another Reliant? No, because if you look at the registry, the enhanced one, it does look like NCC 1864. It's a 4-digit number. It's not one that came later. Unfortunately, it just doesn't make any sense.
And it would be fine if it was if it was because obviously we know the Reliant was one of Picard's earlier ships. So if it was that ship, and then say 100 years later, it was a Reliant D, but it was the Reliant after, and so it's like fan service, but really it's like it was 2 Reliants later. That's legacy was bloody important. It's just Chekhov and Picard happened to both serve on a Reliant, just different Reliants. It's the sort of thing where they said, like, let's throw any old thing, and now it's a thing. It's like, unfortunately, if they said Shinjo F, we're like, oh, fuck off.
Well, yeah. Well, you know
I
what
want to
happened
see the
was
Shinjo F. Go
they
F
had
yourself.
all these ships. They had all these ships designed, rough sketch or concept or whatever, and somebody came in over the animator's shoulder and said, "Oh, that looks like the Reliant? Cool. Here's the paperwork that we have for what we need to do. Blah 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 blah." The guys was like, "Reliant, huh? It looks like the Reliant. Yeah. Let's change the fucking registry, man. It's Reliant. It's a little hidden Easter egg for everybody."
It's so hidden
Easter
you can't
eggs are
even read
great.
it.
I know Easter eggs are great when they mean something. This was just dumb, for the sake of dumb. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's I haven't even thought about that. Yeah, the it's the opposite. It's the ship that killed the Enterprise. Because without this ship, the original Reliant, the Enterprise wouldn't have been so damaged. It would have lost against a shitty bird of prey.
That's
It's
very very circuitous, but yes, I see what you're going for.
and without the Battle of the Things, Spock wouldn't have died. So it's a ship that it's a legacy that killed Spock for the first time.
But it also gave the Federation their Jesus Christ, the Messiah coming back from the dead, Spock. Hey, argue my facts, man.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, certainly. I mean, super small again. I'm still not going to fully commit to that because it's not readable fully. But I can, if you think that's what it says, then you can see it. But that's like an ink block test. If it looked just, if I told something, but weird. But I mean, I was assuming though when this came up, you were going to say the fact we didn't get to see any real shots of these ships and more of a generality than just the Reliant. Because that's certainly
that kind of comes in maybe later on my list.
Okay.
We'll have to see.
Okay.
Might be covered under something else even.
Cool.
But yeah.
Cool.
Seenan Fletcher puts in $2.
Thank
Book didn't go around it; he had to go through it. Okay, I buy that. That actually, there's no way to get around it. 20% chance, whatever. So yeah, they ducked through it maybe, but that wasn't illustrated well enough nor explained. So.
And also, I would take his around it, meaning there's no way to avoid it. Not literally around it. He's not literally saying I can't. No, just around is just avoid it in general, and then avoid it instantly. Because it's obvious. I mean, going through is easier than going around because you don't move.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense. And guys, do please super chat your thoughts on these. I mean, ironically, even though it's a list of more bitching, we're going through it quicker. But I guess we have more similarities this time. So.
Well, I'm sure at the end we'll have things to discuss as well, like kind of covering, our honorable mentions and stuff as well.
I have a couple for sure.
Yeah. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $2. Here's Fleet Paw. Thank you for joining us, Fleet Paw. It's about time. I'm just kidding. 223 of you here, 128 likes. That's awesome, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 150. That's easy. That's only 22 more. Yeah, I can do math. See? And Olivia Julius throws in $2. Hashtag justice for Gumball. Hashtag yeah to the hell to the yeah. And Eugene Shinzo F Shinzo. I love it.
Yes, pretty much. So, Stuart, now we're our top 3, bottom 3. So now we get into our least favorite. This is what earns our bronze for worst things in Discovery Season 3. We've done some pretty varied ones for these past 7 each. My my bronze for worst thing that I just didn't like this season was, and it's another ship one. My one is reusing Discovery ships for everything, even though it makes no sense.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's pathetic, especially when you have no money for CGI and you have custom ships here, there, and everywhere, and yet not the ones that matter as well. Especially as these ships could be simple. Obviously, we talk about specifically the graveyard in episode 5. And they have like 7 or 8 Hiawatha's, and every other ship in the sky is also a ship. Now, if they had said, when they warped in, when they say, "Oh wow, those are burned out hulls," yes, I just watched it. You know, she says, "I've seen planets like this all over the space." If she had said, or if Michelle Yeoh had said, "Michael, are these all? I recognise every ship here," and she's like, "Yeah, this must be a 22nd century rust pile." Boom, done. That's all they need. They move different eras into different planets as a way of kind of like separating them. It's dumb, but it's a reason. That's all you'd need. But I do not buy for a single second that every ship on this planet is these. At least they should have had a Genhei, at least, as garbage as that ship can be, in the background, or only Genheis. Given the fact that we saw 5,000 of them in the season finale, they made more of them than any other ship in damn Starfleet. So why wouldn't they be around? That would have been fine. Although they knew for a fact that none of their Genhei models are as detailed as the Discovery models, because they didn't build them as good. So they let themselves down in every way. They should have had those models. It's just dumb. They use Discovery shots as well. They use other ones in other places. Just lets them down.
Yeah. Put a Reliant M up there. We wouldn't have known the difference. We would have, that's a cool looking ship silhouette. Woohoo! You've got ships in Starfleet that would technically probably be inactive at this point, that might have been used as scrap that they could have there. You know, have some old Starfleet designs. Old being 100 years ago, which is still 800 years in our future. Do something new, something different. Like, yeah, I agree with you 100%. That was a bullshit scene. Even the stuff all in orbit was all Discovery
all
stuff.
Of it. Yep. And look how far away the ships are. They're just silhouette ships. Just build something new, or just quickly. I mean, do you realize how much reference there is to build like an Enterprise D or an E? You could easily knock one out in a day if you're a good modeler for those level of distance, and then imagine the amount of press they'd get if every ship flying was different ships in different eras.
And that makes Eagle Moss money.
Well, no, it'd still be an Enterprise D and E, but it'd be like a dirty version, yeah.
But it'd be like the wrecked version, like holes in the hull and stuff.
Well, that would take more time to build, because none of these have got holes in, except the one in the foreground. Really, they're all. Okay. No, I like that.
You're thinking from a modeling perspective. I'm just thinking from a let's do it perspective. So
yeah.
But
you even have the Enterprise D shitty model from the start of Picard. Like, you have an Enterprise D you could throw in as well. Like, separate the saucer. How cool would it be to have the Enterprise D secondary hull in orbit? Or here, you know? You already have that modelled. You were lazy. You didn't care. And it's a shame. It stands out. And they could, like I said, fix it with one line of dialogue.
Yep. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. This scene burned my burn. Should have been better. Yes. And we're 2 away from 150, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't. I think we can hit 275.
Hopefully.
With 233 people here. So hit that like button if you haven't. Let's get up there.
Matt Boardman from Star Trek TNG Season 2 says, this is what happens when you hire a VFX house that's doing 20 other shows or working on your show. You get half-assed efforts that are just huge reusing of already poorly built models.
Yeah.
And yet they will build brand new Mirror Universe costumes that none of us thought were new. They put all that money in. They'll do that, but they won't bother with any of the CGI when it can. And remember, like you said, design 10 new models. Remember the binary star? Design 10 new scrap models. Oh, Eagle Moss, sell the 10 shipyard scrap models. Oh, you just made $500,000 for Eagle Moss. Like, they could be printing money just by designing new ships for these sequences, you know? Printing money, literally. I mean, they can sell the Hiawatha. That's a garbage 3D model. Crazy.
True enough. True enough. So my number 3.
You're bronze, Stuart. You're bronze.
My bronze position is lack of any other FTL drives or any real explanation as to. Again, they've had 800 years. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I made a GIF for it. Sweet.
Oh, did I?
They've had 800 plus years before the burn to come up with new ship designs and new different forms. We've seen so many even on TNG and Voyager of different forms of FTLs, even the Soliton wave, shit like that was being experimented with in TNG. Like, you can't tell me that slipstream, transwarp, all the other things that could exist. They get a little bit of a mention, maybe in the first episode, maybe if you want to take in Book's lines of dialogue about Benazite or whatever the fuck is the one Drive needs or whatever. We needed more explanation though, because you're telling me that in almost 1,000 years of progression, with them running out of the dilithium, mind you, that this wasn't more of a problem. And we saw more advanced stuff going on in Voyager with the Delta Quadrant, and there had to be other forms of FTLs. The fact that they're not explained or mentioned why they're not used, other than just generalities like, oh, there's 50% chance.
What does that even mean?
That we're going to get through a transwarp corridor. We were like, ooh, that's all we get. Okay. And then we eventually see the reveal. But that needed to be established first episode. Her being like, is there no other forms of FTLs you can use? No. Well, this, and this. I mean, the Gorn was mentioned, which was on my top 10 list, that they tried using wormholes or singularities as an alternate thing, which ruined subspace. Two light years of subspace gone. So it needed more fleshing out, and so that ties in with yours. It was the exact same kind of point.
But
maybe just
that allows you to have your full rant as well, because you should. Absolutely should. We do come from perspective slightly, but it's just sad. It'd be kind of fun to do a like Major Grimm would do, go through every single season of Star Trek drive. and just list. I don't know how, cause they never say we've got no FTL, or maybe like Vance saying we worked for years to find new versions of FTL, and it's like ding 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 as you keep throwing them up, and it's like, and these were all in 100 years, all discovered in 100 years.
And you can even go, and these guys had FTL without dilithium.
Ding 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 ding.
Stargate. Ding 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 ding. All the different other franchises. And just something silly, but
it's implying that nobody because they've been running out for a long time, so in nobody 170 years would have any other successful propulsion that could even go the kind of warp 2, say, just enough to get people from place to place. Nobody had any ideas. All of the best scientists in thousands of planets, in 230 member worlds, all of the Vulcans, everyone working together, because they can still generate unlimited power. No one, not even one idea. Like, it would have been fine if Vance said, we utilized dozens of different types of FTL, but they all proved to be like unworth the trade-off. Maybe there was some radiation, maybe there was whatever, like there was 10 other types of thing that are all banned over the course of the 20 years as long-term effects we've seen. Like, it's absurd to say nothing was ever found.
And then, hey, SB19, let's not explain any goddamn thing about it. Moving on. No, like, say they're trying to initiate gate usage, some kind of wormhole usage. Say that.
And why did nobody on any planet just discover the spore drive again? Like, you tell me nobody on any planet had the idea of the spore drive again? No one ever again. Warp drive was co-designed, was co-developed, was co-discovered on like 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
Why was the spore technology only on one in one timeline and then lost? Why was that not around?
But also, well, experimented with in the mirror universe by the same guy.
Yeah.
Not for propulsion per se.
Yes, exactly. So he didn't have
for
that.
power source.
It's just really bizarre.
Yeah. All right. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $2.
Dang.
156 likes. Let's go to 200.
Mhm.
158 now. Matthew DeFreitas, $5.
Mm.
Big issue for me. One, just like season 2, inconsistent writing.
Mhm.
Don't blow all your good ideas in the first 5 episodes. And 2, the damn disco interior and lift. Yeah. Well, I'm only number 3. We both are. We got 2 and 1 to go still. So
Who gets the
Kyle-
silver?
yeah, let's see how much if we match up at all. We've had a few matchups, but they've been slightly off as far as Kyle Wong, 5 pounds. They could have investigated the tech that Q's son used to travel across space in Delta 1. Yeah. They could have done a lot of things, as we said. Even in, like, I just saw the Soliton Wave episode of TNG the other day.
Yeah.
That was another planet experimenting with a faster than light.
Yeah, and just Voyager came back with literally at least 7 different new FTL drives.
Scans of them.
Scans in its
Knowledge of
database that it's seen used. That they have. Maybe they might be not development fully, but they have that building block. They, once you see how a car works, when you also have similar cars, you can sort of, like you've got to know how to use a car, how to build a car first. But if you're given a scan of a car when you have a similar car, it might work on different principles, but you've also got, the real basics.
And that would have been a nice tie-in for Voyager J to still be the fastest one of the fleet because it was using an experimental drive or something to kind of give more of a nod to Voyager being the one that was out there doing things. But, we just got the name drop, which is fine. It could still be the case that it's got something.
But Brian says, I don't think the issue was the type of FTL travel being used, but rather having energy generation systems to power your preferred travel method. What do you think?
Well, I agree. That goes back to that first episode where he describes 2 other FTLs, and then the benzosite or whatever the fuck it was that powered it is virtually non-existent because it's so rare. Which, fine, I guess. I think that was for Slipstream or something, but it wasn't expanded on enough for most people to notice that. First of all, it was a very short little line. Most people didn't even catch it. We did, of course, because we have to review it and we're into the tech and we like that kind of thing. So, but most people that I know just generally did not notice that line. So, unfortunately, it was a big gaping hole because everybody during the first part of the season on all the comments was like, why aren't they using Slipstream? Slipstream's in Star Trek Online, right? Like,
yeah, we all have it, to be fair. All of us.
Everybody was questioning that stuff. It just wasn't explained well enough for the fans, unfortunately.
And obviously, as we know, a quantum singularity can generate more than enough power to create a warp bubble. They do it. Like, you don't, there are ways of, do you not think there are planets that generate a lot of power? Say you've got a central, do you think Vulcan has warp cores on their planet generating power for the entire planet? They have other ways of generating power that are not warp drive based that can power a lot of their planet. So at the very least, you can microtize that and put on only travel like small craft. Like it'd be one thing to say we managed to design 3 other FTLs, but they only serve as shuttles, so we can move people, but we can't move tech or whatever. But no, of course you can make enough power to get FTL. All you need is FTL warp 2 or 3, and suddenly space becomes far. But you can go between systems. It sucks a bit, but yeah, absolutely, power is not the problem anymore. This is 3. If you can have replicatable matter, I don't think replicatable matter is being powered by a warp core.
Well, the thing is, I was thinking about power sources as you were talking. I wasn't going to say it, but then Chris Hensel in the chat says use Romulan warp drives. All right, for the 6 billionth time.
7th. You forgot to carry the 1.
Oh fuck, you're right. Dilithium crystals are not a power source.
Wait, they're not?
Method. No, they're a refinement method between the power source and your high warp factors. Everybody needs them, even Romulans. Otherwise, the Romulans would have overtaken the quadrant, and you would go to Navarre. They'd be like, "Cool, join. Here, we got a warp 25 ship right there. because we use quantum singularities to power our ships. We weren't affected by the dilithium burn. No, everyone was. That's the point. Dilithium is required because it's got a subspace element that makes high warp speeds possible. I didn't think I'd have to explain it again, but here we are. Again, they didn't make it clear enough, so everybody's saying the same things. Why aren't the Romulans? Why don't you just use the Romulan drives? It takes a line of dialogue. That's all it takes. Even the Romulans were affected because everybody needs dilithium for high warp. Boom, line done, delivered. Awesome.
Now, it's not to say the Romulans can't do low warp, and just
Everybody can do low warp without dilithium.
Yeah. And I'm sure they have other clever means, etc., of like. But yeah, I mean, once you get used to like warp 9.99999, once you say, right, we as this people can generate a happy warp, 6, it's like, yeah, but that's still, that's going to take a little while. And then as we said, it's not just getting there, it's getting back, and then you become vulnerable to an attack,
Yeah. Yeah, see, quantum singularity is just a power source for Romulans, and not even all Romulan ships. As we know, with the Romulans and Remans, dilithium was a big part because those moons that the Remans were mining, that forced to mine, were dilithium moons. Dilithium was very important to the Romulan Empire for the same reason. It allows high energy warp.
Well, certainly
high warp speeds.
Certainly the implication though in TNG was that their quantum singularity is the new tech that replaces the need for dilithium, and it was everybody previously, all ships previously. And plus that's the Klingons, not Romulans, so.
The Doctor, $5. Dimensionally transcendental space inside ships is for us Time Lords. Damn it. Yeah, well, we're getting there.
So my silver.
Yes, silver place.
The second most bullshit, god awful, Discovery Klingon face looking motherfucker is the Turbolift Caverns. Yes, Turbolift Chasms. Chasms.
That's number
Cavern.
2?
Yes, that's my number 2. The Turbolift Cavern.
Okay.
We've done a video on it, I'm sure. No, that's coming up. You're almost seeing.
It's coming out, yes.
There's so many edits in that. There's so many images. And we can both rant about this in a minute, I'm sure. So I will pause and let you guys give your first piece. But here is a picture, the first picture I've included, where you can see dozens of, or at least 2 dozen things that go up and down the hull, and clearly an extremely empty secondary hull, as if it's bigger on the inside, which it may very well be, but so is it in season 1 and 2.
And Pike's pre-TOS Enterprise.
Yes, but that's no surprising. We know they can fit 50 or 60 fighters in a bay that can fit.
Oh, that's true.
None. Shocking.
Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit.
I don't know. We may do.
We might. I don't know. Let's go on to my number 2.
Stuart Silver for his
silver place.
What? Before you go, what adjective would you? Because I said bullshit. What would be your adjective for this one? For why it's just number 2?
Disappointing, I guess.
We're not angry.
No, I wasn't. I'm a parent. I don't get angry. I get disappointed. Well, that's not true. I get angry, then I get disappointed. But anyway.
Your number 2 is... Great timing.
You're frozen. You're frozen on the screen.
Your number 2 is...
I'm going to wait until I see you moving. Right now, you're frozen. There we go. Number 2 is a lack of any kind of space battle or seeing any of the fucking ships.
Oh.
We get the whole, hey, Navarre sent a fleet. Sweet. We're going to see something happen. There was a big battle at the end of season 2.
We're going to get a new ship. We're going to get a new ship.
No. Which we kind of do in the distance. 3 of them warp in.
Cute.
And none of these ships that are in Starfleet HQ that are all firing at Discovery can make any kind of impact on Discovery. It's also kind of stupid. But we didn't see the ships in any detail. The battle was kind of stupid and not really existed. And I like space battles. I like ships. I would like to see the ships better. So just lack of visuals on the ships and lack of any kind of cool space battle at the end there, where it was just there's opportunity for it, especially after Discovery got pulled out of warp. And the Viridian needed to, get them in the bay, and you had the Navarre ships following them.
Yeah.
Perfect time for a little brief scuffle and see a ship or two do a thing. All it took was literally 30 seconds of a battle would have been great, because that whole scene makes no sense when you look back at it. Discovery comes out of warp. It has the Viridian right behind it, and right behind that is the Starfleet ships and the Navarre ships, but they're never heard from again. So
and they're seconds behind. Seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great. So you're including on this one the lack of seeing ships, really.
Yeah.
I mean, is that just them basically telling us that they also have no confidence in their own designs? Or their own model, like
possibly,
because as I've also done in fan films, if you know a ship is lower detail, well, you don't get super close. So perhaps, unlike Picard, where they were rushed, but they got incredibly close, maybe they just said none of these ships are good enough. Which unfortunately, like Picard, they didn't go back and improve it, even though they could have for the Blu-ray. We're going to see these ships in Egomos, and they'll be shit, as in because they didn't bother. If you make a model that's about the same level of detail as a Voyager model 20 years later, when we saw like Lost in Space ships, and they're just like, oh my god, the detail level, holy hell,
yeah,
shocking, guys. $50 more in super chats. I really like that would help us get to at least a baseline. At the end, we'll definitely do a. We definitely want to do like your least favorite super chat round would be great. Stuart, what's your current spike wanting number then?
I still haven't got my 175. I'm only 6 away from that, but I think we can hit 200 now easily with 250 people. So yeah, if you haven't hit please hit that like button, guys. I think 200 is very achievable. So yes, hit like. Olivia Julius puts in $5. More puggy treats for the puggy. I outrank the admiral.
It's true.
Hashtag piggy puggy. Yeah, that's true.
Hashtag president.
Yeah.
President speaks.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, what's your number one then, my friend?
Stuart. My number one in Star Discovery Season 3. And my last one, the adjective was bullshit. This adjective is a 3-word sentence. You ready?
Yeah.
Nope. 4-word sentence. My number one is the I could have done better. 5-word sentence. My number one is slightly different to yours, but my content is specifically the space battles are bad. They're bad, plus the garbage petrol explosions that actually mean nothing. They do have a space battle in in the season. It is bad. We understand they're in coronavirus lockdown, fine. But lots of other stuff they've done is very, very good. Why are these sequences so bad? And yes, the end battles are not even a battle. They've never been good battles ever. This is when you have visual effect people who have very little cinematic ability, who don't understand shot composition, who aren't giving it their heart and soul to create really cool shots. And I understand the ship is massive and the ship is small, fine. But to have it fly against the hull, doing nothing, pew-pewing petrol explosions that mean nothing, in shitty little shots, when I can do better today, maybe not visually as cool CGI terms, but I can make better battles than Discovery Team any goddamn day. And do you know what, Stuart? I do better space battles often for fan films. I've done one from Squadron that's obviously better than this. For Roman War, I was doing a space battle last week that's better than this battle. Easily better. I've done a space battle for Temporal Anomaly. I've done a better space battle in First Frontier. I've done a better space battle in Avalon episodes 2 and 3. They're bad. And I can do better. Today. I could previs a better sequence in one day than they made in this episode. And it would not be hard.
Simple.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Because the reason it's the worst is because if I can do better than them, that tells you how bad they are. You know, how many people are being paid salaries to do this? I'm not being paid salary to do what I do. You know, like a big chunky yearly salary. Like they every season they can do better with better whatever. So the fact that they like, you know, like I can't do turbo lift better, whatever the hell that is. You know, fuck it, doesn't matter, whatever. Go, but space battles. Oh God, frustrating.
Yeah. Mark Lawrence, $5, hoping to get a battle that could at least be similar to the DS9 Dominion War battle, but we got far away. The non-views of ships fan films are better. Yeah. Because fan films are made by people that care, and not, as Matt Boardman says, just people that are like, here's an assignment, make a ship. It's a Star Trek ship. But I'm a Star Wars fan. Okay, fine. Fuck.
Yeah.
Pull up images of Star Trek ships. I'll make it look vaguely like that, but I don't know the details. So here you
go. And Explanatory Live says, how is the reason for the burn not your number one reason? Stuart.
Because the reason for the burn was fucking perfect just the way it was. It doesn't have to be...
Could have been better. Let's just say no, it's not. It could have been better, but...
I liked it.
But we liked it, yes.
Yes, because it's a simple one-off Star Trek problem. It would have been an episode of TNG, as I said. But it wasn't a big bad guy, so people are all freaked out. So I understand why people are upset about it, but at the same time, you know, I think it was perfect just the way it was. Could have been a little bit better, but overall, it was interesting. It won't happen again. It was a one-off scientific thing, you know, which is what Star Trek excels at. Star Trek does not excel at big bads. Every time there's a big bad, well, almost every time there's a big bad, it's bad because it's not what Star Trek is. It's not Star Wars. It's not, you know. All right. Want to get to my number one?
No, Super Chat. I want to respond to Tony Super Chat.
Oh, Tony Bell, $5. Watch Nemesis. Haven't met quota. Proves it was important in Senate scene. And of course, that's when my internet goes bad, yeah?
Of course it is.
Tony Bell, $5. Watch Nemesis. They say dilithium ions on Remus haven't met quota. Proves it was important in Senate scene. Absolutely agree.
But also, it doesn't prove they use dilithium for their biggest ships, because if you've got an empire with 5,000 ships, most of them aren't going to have the newest, greatest propulsion tech. And to keep an empire going, you need lots of raw material. So, of course, they need thousands of bits of dilithium for thousands of ships. Their best ships...
Or to trade to get other things as well.
Or to trade, or to expand, or for star bases. Of course, you know, if you, and maybe you have 50 warships that all have quantum areas that don't need lithium, fine. But you're not going to put those on all your shuttles. So, and they want to keep expanding. So, we know Nemesis, don't worry. But dilithium is useful for lots of stuff, and most things wouldn't use them anyway. Now, in the future, you shouldn't need them as much. You should have other things. But at that point, most things would run on it. Except the best stuff, probably. Etc.
Yeah. Fleetpath Swiftback, $5. The battles from Voyager DS9 went, and even TNG hold up better over time than these ever will. And they were done with older CGI tech. And models.
I mean, it is hard, honestly, to call the TNG battles. Like, it's two things.
But they're more realistic battles, you know. But battles will be quick and dirty.
But they're not fun to watch. It's just...
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing to them, but they do look real, in a sense. These are noisy, and you also understand them. Explanatory Life says, millions died because of a baby tantrum. It wasn't a tantrum, his mum died, and everyone he knew died. He found all of his family dead on the floor, and his mum died in front of him. It's not a tantrum, it's your mum died. I think we'd all be sad if our mum died in front of us, covered in the disease. Or, you know, that's a really disrespectful thing to say for such a dramatic moment that was mostly dramatic. So, yeah. Stuart, you're number one, in which case we obviously, for gold, you got a rant. So I am I'm gonna turn on the Nemesis seatbelts. Deleted scene seatbelts. Ready.
You want my description of it first?
Yes. What's your adjective for this?
My adjective. Well, how do I put this? It's a four. Okay, you did a sentence. Mine's four words. Fucking ridiculous beyond belief. Is for my number one slot, and that is the Turbolift Caverns hashtag Turbolift Planet. Get fucked. I'm sorry, Discovery people, but that's my solution to your fucking Turbolift Caverns. Get fucked. As I said, they didn't double down. They could have not mentioned them again. We could have ignored season 1 and 2. Fine, but they didn't double down. They quadrupled down on the stupid with these fucking caverns. And then you get people that always talk to me in the comments. You're forgetting the 31st century tech of Enterprise season 2, episode 16. Okay, fine. But Discovery was pre-TOS, and they had them in season 1 and 2, even on the Enterprise, which was Pike's Enterprise before Kirk. So you're telling me the Enterprise in TOS had these caverns as well? That's fucking stupid. So, no. So, yeah, that's my number one. It was upgraded. It was upgraded with programmable matter, as we see, because if you watch seasons 1 and 2, these scenes, there are solid gates that the turbolifts go through. And there's actually rails as well. That's why we called it the Turbolift roller coaster. In season 3, in the last episode, it's no more rails. The rails are gone. But now there's programmable matter forming gates in front of the moving turbolifts.
Sometimes.
So it has... Sometimes. Exactly. Sometimes there are static. Exactly.
Like, because remember, the ones going down are all still there. That's how we can see there's a ring. Like, that's how Barry worked out the deck height. Yeah. But also, they generate in front of them.
So nobody's forgetting episode 16, season 2 of Enterprise, guys. Future tense is what it's called. We remember. But the problem is, somebody argued with me today about it, saying you're obviously forgetting that episode, and you can't say that season 1 and 2 had them because I went and looked and it doesn't show the space very well. And I'm like, I didn't say this, but are you stupid? Because we see fucking work bees flying around in the interior of the ship.
Quite fast as well. Not like,
yes.
Oh no, oh come on, quickly. Like it was every day. Like there was just a standard thing. Work bees are big, and their work bees are especially big.
Go back and watch seasons 1 and 2 and look at the turbolift scenes and then fucking come and talk to me before you comment. Okay? Thank you. If this is the first time we had seen it in the last episode, I would have gladly accepted the 31st century tech of the fucking TARDIS tech. It would have been cool. Fine. Cool. What a great way to save space and add space.
It'd be like including Flounder in the Picard thing. Like, oh, wow, that was a deep cut. Like, okay, sure. You did a detail. And it was still a stupid scene. Problem is, though, it would ruin everything because now every shuttle is a spaceship on the inside. Every space station, well, of course, that houses 5,000 people, Starfleet Command, because it's got a TARDIS inside. Yeah, well, those Navrar shuttles, they have 4,000 troops inside. TARDIS tech is dangerous because it changes everything.
And with the size of Starfleet, what we saw of Starfleet, I had no problem if they had TARDIS tech in there to have a crew of 5,000 because it doesn't look big enough to be very big at all. We saw the top half of it, we saw the command center, and we saw so it would have been fine, sure, but it was never shown anything but those top 2-3 levels.
And even someone mentioned, why even bother? Why do they even need to have the rings to go through? Haven't they worked out hover technology for the turbolift yet? Like, why would you even need them? And why do they need to create on your go? Are you telling me they haven't worked out how to make them fly by themselves? Like, it's less advanced to create things out of matter, having to create lots as you go. It shows you a lot of energy. Just have the one damn thing fly, and then you wouldn't need to follow paths. Why? It's less advanced. Yeah. And obviously the picture you found was pretty good as well. Yeah, it's not just the fact that it is what it is. There's also lots of.
I couldn't find a good picture. I had to go and get the screen cap for that because I needed to point that out. Sorry.
But there's also a ton of greeblies, like non-greeblies. Like this is empty space that turbolists fly in that has just something in it. Lots of little somethings. So what is this? It's not a warp drive. Are you telling me it's like pipes of the oxygen system? Like it doesn't mean anything. Like it'd be sort of something if like they just went along the wall and it was full empty space. and the interior of the entire second hull is hollow, but it can replicate all matter into whatever room you needed. Now that would be interesting. The turbolifts go across a big, broad, like holodeck feeling vibe where you just see the edges of the ship and they're like glows, and it just flies. That would be more interesting to me. And then things appear as you need them. That's interesting. That's advanced. That's clever. That's silly, but it's clever. Yeah. This is dumb in every single level.
Richard Trussell. Probably why we didn't see Jet Reno for a few episodes. She got lost in turbolifts. That would have been a great line. Instead of saying, I was trying to incorporate, when she's eating her licorice, and trying to incorporate the new whatever, plasma tech, whatever. It would have been, I kind of got lost in the turbolifts. Working shaft maintenance and got lost. That would have been great.
And yes, total waste of their CGI budget. They couldn't be bothered to detail their ships to a standard that beats 2004's Enterprise. They could be bothered to build or at least reuse this, whatever.
Yeah.
Guys, $19 more. That's all we need. It's right there. 19.
Well, speaking of, we got some super chats. Olivia Julius, $2. Dottie treats for the dot. # feeling left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little sweetheart.
And we've got to make the dots relevant somewhere. They weren't in the last episode.
That's right. Mark Lawrence, $2. Anyone done math on how big the turbolift area is?
Yes.
We have a video coming out about it, Mark. So I don't know when it'll be out.
Sunday.
Soon, probably.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday.
So I need to do a picture based on a picture Sunday. But to be fair, though, it's kind of cool to come out on a weekend because then it's like a more special one. And that'll be our last double weekend one for a while.
Everybody tune in to Sunday. We have some numbers. We have some crunching of, and trust me, we talk about it. So.
And Nathan also says, why couldn't the turbolift just beam?
Yeah.
And why do
they even need turbolifts when they have the communicators?
Yeah, well, for a scene like this, because we've seen they have unlimited power. Like, there's not, and that would have been kind of fun actually. If there's a scene where they say, so remember when they all got the comm badge on the bridge, and they'd said, Commander, whatever your name is from the future. I tried to get down to deck 17 and it was a work in progress sign. Oh yes, so what we've done for Polar Reef, we've literally hollowed out the secondary hull. But how do we get there? There aren't turbolifts because they're being, you just beam. We don't have turbolifts. It's like, really? So yeah. So, okay. What if power goes out? Well, what if the power goes out in your turbolift? It falls and kills the person. It's a void. Sorry, there isn't emergency bullshit.
Yes. Yes. Please come back. Fuck. Yes, for the love of God, I agree with you. I just watched Disaster, TNG episode Disaster, where they hit the whatever, and Picard and the 3 kids are in the turbolift. The turbolift doesn't fall because it was hovering. It was at a fucking shaft, so it locked on. And how many times have we heard the emergency clamps have engaged or whatever to keep the turbolift from falling? So it's going to lock onto the gates that are being built in front of it. Well, by the way, those float too. Oh shit! And
imagine you want to get out of the turbolift and escape somehow,
and crawl through it with a ladder, as every elevator shaft has.
So you're telling me there's 19 decks above me and 14 below me? I guess we're stuck. Whereas in TNG, it's just like, all right, we've got 4 decks. Climb, we're out.
But I got a broken leg. It'll be hard to climb then. Wait here.
More.
Those are real problems that real people have.
They're making everything about it dumb. It's just everything about it. It's the symbolization of Discovery why it's shit. It's like the Klingons. You changed it way too much for no reason. It looks cool, but it's wrong. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to make sense. Not going to try and make sense. They double down. Go fuck yourself. You're getting anally raped. You're getting kissed on the forehead. You're getting given a chocolate cake made of shit. And yes, dilithium was used by Romulans, but not really. Go F yourself. But Michael's mum's alive.
And Richard Trussell. You need to edit Palpatine falling in the background with the lightning. In one of the scenes. That'd be hilarious. Still have Emperor Palpatine falling. I think that'd be great. Okay, let's see.
It is interesting. We found more problems with it since we talked. I haven't even considered that stuff.
I think we should do a live after the video's been released because we'll have a lot of comments to talk about. I don't know if we could do a whole live talking about it, but I think
I've this will be the last. I don't want us to talk about it again.
Actually.
Yeah. Well, no, we've got a video. With things we've got on our video, it's all the math. We've already got one that proves it. And do watch that, guys, because we have literal math.
Yeah.
You know, the power of math, people.
Oh, fuck off. I like science. Cena and Fletcher, $2. Did the NX-01 ever mention using dilithium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the specific references were, but yes, they did.
Yeah. Because they found dilithium, I think it was in the asteroid belt of Earth. Like, they found it, there is some in our solar system, or in a solar system nearby, but it's like, there's dilithium really close, we just never got to it and knew what it was. But once the Romans showed us what it was vaguely, we got it, then we had it, and then we used it, and then once you get some, you find it easier because now you can travel quicker. And besides, we only had like 10 ships at NX. I know some people disagree with me, but I think that's a pretty easy assumption, so you don't need much dilithium, etc. And also, like, I don't think NX ever even restocked its dilithium because it wasn't that sort of power source. Like, you have crystals, they work for years. Don't need to think about it, you know? It's just a really reliable source of the thing that it's sourced for. Like, I doubt they ever swapped crystals once.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery says they found it on the 5th moon of Jupiter, I believe they said. Yeah. Sure.
I think it was something like that. Yeah. It was weirdly close, yeah.
Sci-Fi Brony, they should have done a deep cut and tried to use lithium like the early TOS. Yeah, but that's forgivable for early TOS. They were just trying to find their legs, so...
Oh, and Stuart, remember. She is a queen!
Fuck off.
$8,
Ozzy has
guys.
it right. She is a queen is also like Air Force One, get off my plane. Yep. Yeah. It's just one of those.
She's a queen off my plane. $8, guys.
Anyway.
$8.
Well, we got some super chats.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, they're $8.
You want $8 more?
That's it. That's all I was trying to say. Yeah.
Okay, good. You're not going to say thrusting nipples of power today?
You did, so I feel content.
Well, it's your catchphrase. I don't want to step all over it because
you don't want to step over my nipples.
Nope, can't. They're thrusting and they're powerful. Sorry. The Suspect Fox throws in $5 Australian. I hope they forget all about the turbo lifts when writing, designing Strange New Worlds. I can live with it being a Discovery thing. Hashtag not my enterprise. I would agree, but like I said, if they just ignored it for this season, people would have forgot about it. We almost did. It was in season 1 and 2, but we say start watching season 3 because it's better. But no, like I said, the last episode, they quadrupled down on the stupid with those scenes. They're overly long fight scenes that are unnecessary and can be trimmed down to not look so stupid. So,
and as I said several times, you just put them all in the final chamber thing. That's how you do that sequence. It would work a ton better.
Captain Chili Beana, $5.
Thank you.
Any clue how much it costs to do CGI for this scene? If they cut this, maybe they could have afforded to bring Lorca back. Yeah, I don't know how much it would cost, but
well, it's not so much what it costs; it's how much time it takes out of production, because everyone's on a salary, so therefore, you are in the office 5 days a week. Either way, it's what you're assigned to do. But this has obviously been reused from the season 1 and season 2. They ripped out all the geometry layers of the roller coasters. They redesigned the turbo slightly. They built one emitter thing and they just cloned it as they go. I'm assuming the Greeblies were always there. We just couldn't see them because it was just filled with garbage, visual garbage. I doubt they put any more Greeblies in. It was just already there. And then because of the nature of the sequences where they're like floating or flying, there's not more motion blur, so you can get away with probably lower settings and lower poly assets from back. So it's more just how many hours and days, but because it's already mostly set up and because it's understandable, like there's no parallax, as in like all it is just you understand. Okay, there's a tube going left and the character's in the tube, so you just put the camera here and you say render, and then you do the normal compositing of final. It's actually less than you think it is. It's more just that they had to do, 27 green screen shots. But once you set up the environment, it's not as hard. If they'd built it scratch, it would have been harder, although most of the stuff I'm sure is low poly. It's more just like they chose to do 27 green screen shots with motion tracking, but they didn't need to. That was in itself was just took time. Probably took a good chunk of a couple of days for several artists. And if they only have 7 days to turn around a shot, I think it should be more than that personally. But Yeah, and to be fair, the CGI is pretty good. Like they do blend in quite well, considering what it is. But also, they're all dark, and darkness hides a lot of sins. So, yeah.
Eugene, 250 rubles.
Mm.
Weird usages of CGI models that look as if the geometry and textures hadn't loaded yet. Where's the budget, Lebowski? Where's the budget, Lebowski? Gotcha.
I guarantee they lost a lot of budget this year. Because they overspent last year, and that's why they lost showrunners. I guarantee they said, "Well, we're going to give you a third season, but we're going to slash what you spent last year. We're going to take out of this year," and that's why every single Starfleet room is the same room. And in fact, even remember when they're getting interrogated at the start of the season, when they visit Starfleet Command, and Nan's like, "Nan, da-da-da-da-da." Starfleet ID, da-da-da. That sequence, right?
Yeah.
That scene's just in the med bay of Discovery. With two walls that are different. That's it. Like there's no money there. You know what I mean? Like it's just a quick kitbash of a scene, and it's like half hiding it, half not. But you can still see the windows the same shape. So they built very few sets. Like definitely a cheaper season. Like the entire Hiawatha big sequence in Sips. I know you start big, but I bet you they spent more money on the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes of Discovery Season 1, which we knew were overly expensive. I bet you those 3 were going to cost like 7 of this season. Guarantee it. Minimum.
Yeah.
Definitely many millions less. Which it shows, but it's actually better for it, actually, because they don't waste money.
Fleet Pass Swift back $2. Tell us how you really feel, Sam.
They did. There you go.
FearGal011, $5 Australian. Loss of a franchise into hashtag not Star Trek. I mean, it's better. Season 3 is better. So just this was our 10 worst. We did come up with. We enjoyed the season a lot better than the first 2, and our top 10 list was done yesterday. So go watch that one.
Yeah, and it'd be
yesterday,
fun.
The day before.
And it'd be fun. Go back and watch that, and suddenly you'll see like, wow, they're too positive. It's like, oh no, just this is the point of the 2 lists.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I think I've been quite restrained actually up until the last one. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Interesting list, by the way. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. 200. Sam says thrusting nipples of power.
Thrusting nipples of power.
I'm going to make a shirt. I don't know what. I'm going to design a shirt that has that, and it's going to be Trekyards branded, and we'll see who buys it, because that's awesome. That's a perfect thing to put on a shirt. Really. You are a genius, sir, a marketing genius. You don't even realize that you came up with this idea, and you had visions of merchandise in your head at the time. You're amazing.
Stuart.
If any artists out there want to help me design this, by all means, drop us a line at trekyards@hotmail.com.
Stuart, sell my hard nipples.
I will do that. I'll use you as you used me. That didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
The mouth was speaking, but the brain had left the building.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll take my t-shirt in TOS yellow. Well, it'll be available in multiple colors, this one for sure.
Just make sure you're cold when you wear it.
Space Thing, $5. Which felt cheaper to y'all? Season 3 of Disco or Season 1 of Picard? Or I guess which show has used its budget worse? Oh. I think Season 1 of Picard used its budget better by getting actual actors back, like Brent Spiner, but then wasted and killed those characters. Or at least didn't kill them necessarily, but degraded them. Brent Spiner, Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan couldn't afford Manu Anarame or even have the decency to ask him back, but that's another fucking whatever. It's hard to say because that's a season 1 versus a season 3. Season 1, you got to build all your sets, you got to hire all your actors, you got to hire all your crew. There's a lot more money dumped into a season 1, just on costuming and set building and design. So that's a really tough call. Really tough call.
I'm gonna say Picard season 1 because they spend 3 episodes at a vineyard set, which over half of it is just inside a soundstage, which is like a couple of minutes away from the Les Arena set, which is on sound stages.
Yeah, which we found they actually added episodes to get more use of those, make it seem longer, more epic, and it just wasted time.
And then they use the Vineyard interior soundstage for the rest of it. The ship is a piece of shit. They reuse the same box room for every single room in the season, which is a shitty room. It's a really bad kit bash. That's cheap. The Borg set's like crap. I hate that art design so much. Costumes are good, but I mean, costumes are easy. You just hire a seamstress in a company. Like, it's not hard. Like, those, you know. Put it this way, Stargate, with less money, made better sets and better props and better costumes 25 years ago. With less money.
Honestly, those sets are just... It was modern technology. Just you pulled in things that already existed. You didn't have to create.
No, I meant like the alien stuff. Like every week you went to a new historical location. They all looked incredible. Yes, they might be not as detailed. Like they went to Mesopotamia, and Rome, and you know, they all looked better, and sold it.
And all the planets look like Vancouver.
It's true. All planets are Vancouver.
Until they didn't.
As we know, that's because the Gate Network is connected to planets that are habitable. So the ancients chose to put them on planets that were nice and habitable for humans. That's why they're all the same.
But only in one climate zone.
Yes, because that's what the ancients liked. What? They're not going to put it on a... They like a certain sort of tree, fauna.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like, seriously, it's instantly answered. You know what I mean? Like,
they like their coniferous trees. They like their evergreen trees.
And to be fair, they probably just terraformed those parts of the planet to help support as well. Like, they probably just, you know...
Yep.
See, like, all this is intentional by hyper advanced race is easy. Like, boom, done.
I know. It's what we do.
Yeah.
As soon as Star Trek, we answer the questions.
But no, certainly, yeah. Picard, I think, is cheaper. It looks cheaper. Because the actors took more money. Discovery looks more expensive because they have more money on screen that aren't the actors. Yeah. You know.
And Matt Boardman says, it's hard to say because I worked on the remastering of TNG Season 2, so I was limited to the effects side of things. We had Dan Curry and the Okudas that we reported to. That's awesome, Matt. Captain Chili Bina, $2. Honorable mention, Detmer freakout dinner scene cringe. Oh, yes. Absolutely. That should have been on my list, too.
Stamets blood. I'm not acting it well. Stamets blood. I don't know why I'm saying... Stamets blood. I've never talked to the actor once on screen, but Stamets blood, I hate him all of a sudden. It's like, what? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
You never had a scene together, ever in the show. Why are you suddenly hating each other? But Stuart, let's do some honorable mentions. Can we get $30 more? I'll be honest. Let's do honorable mentions, 30 more. And that'd be really... I saw the numbers did a thing. $30. That'd be great. Do you have any honorable mentions, Stuart? Because I have a couple. These did not make the top 10.
I didn't have any more than 10, but I'm sure I'll think of things as you're talking. Because, yeah, the Detmer thing definitely is on there.
Like I say, guys, $31 if you can. So honorable mentions for me. And these are, again, small things. Introducing Michael Burnham's ship and never mentioning it again. Sorry, what's it?
I totally agree. I just said amen. That's all I said because I totally agree with you.
You went amen. Yeah, and it's sad because like we get they spend money making a CGI model of it for one shot. And it's like if she had a warp capable ship, that's a big deal in this universe. She managed to get hands on a warp capable ship, had enough to do missions. Like she didn't stay with Book for 9 months. It's explicitly said so. So yeah, that was weird. Like. That'd have been cool, like Neelix, if they had both ships on the hangar bay. That'd have been kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And they would have got their money's worth because we would have seen them the whole time because the door was up.
Yeah. That said, though, it was just a redress of the Discovery shuttle. And to be fair, Stuart, we never used that set once. So they have moved away from it, to be fair.
Which set is this?
The shuttle set. Like, you never go on the shuttle once in terms of the actors.
Yeah.
And in fact, you realise they stopped using the shuttle. They stopped using the transporter room, that shitty shuttle bay transporter room set, at a certain point because they obviously don't need it. So that set should be destroyed the next season because that's one of the worst sets on the show. Right, my next one. Not really dealing with going into the future idea with the crew. Like they had it a little bit and ignored. And that could have been the entire thing with the secondary characters, how they bond together because they're all they have, and how they all miss their family, and They can show holograms of
Yeah.
each other's family, and they all bond. It was dropped like a bag of shit. Could
Yep,
have been the strongest grounding element in the entire season.
And they sort of kind of snagged it occasionally with like Hugh saying, and then even Stamets, we came for you. We came so you wouldn't be alone. So they kind of touched on it slightly and then just left it be.
Yep.
No, there would be a lot more issues, I think.
It gets dropped in episode 3, 4. It's like, and gone. Not even going to mention it again. Everyone's happy now. Maybe they gave them Starfleet 32nd century drugs to be happy, and now they're fine. Now we don't miss our family.
See,
you are our family.
It'd be interesting if half the people that came with them decided to stay on Earth during the Earth episode, because
that would have been good. Yep.
We're back home. Fuck Starfleet. They let us down. We're not going to go find Starfleet. Yeah. We came to the future. We're stuck here now. Why risk our lives more? We're at home. This is Earth. We're staying.
And what's funny, except for the fact they had loads of extras walking around in corridors, way too many extras for the amount of people in the ship. Like, why are 19 people in one corridor walking around? That's a fifth of your crew in this one corridor, not serving
because
a purpose.
They only have 4 corridors. The rest of the space is all turbolift caverns.
That is true. That is a great counter to that, because we know there's nothing in the ship. Yep. But I still like the season would have been totally the same if it was just the bridge crew and like 10 other people that stayed with them, and that would have made sense.
Mm.
Didn't need the extra 120 people. And then can you imagine if say 30 stayed, and at the start when Zara's like, "There's only 21 people." 30? No, little lady. Only 21 life signs. And they're like, oh, wow, they lost a third of the crew. Shit. Like that. And then you've got people saying in the crew, Jerry, over there, he died. Like, I could have been that guy. That would have been so
wall.
Strong.
That's the wall with the badges. All those badges are people that died that came with them to the future. So.
Yeah, they came for nothing.
And they show that twice.
But seriously, imagine, though, if that had been the case. I know it would have been a much darker season and we're not in for dark, but that would have been so much powerfulness there, Because then you've had survivor's guilt, but also appreciating you survived, Like, I survived. I got to Starfleet, God, it would have been so powerful.
All right. Eugene, 250 ruples. Rumors say Picard Season 1 budget was redirected to Disco Season 3, where has Disco Season 3 budget redirect... What? Where was the season directed to? What? I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. Can you read that?
Oh.
Because I can't. My brain's farting right now.
Rumors say Picard Season 1 budget was redirected to Discovery Season 3, whereas Discovery Season 3 budget was redirected to... I heard the opposite. I heard Discovery Season 3 budget was moved to Picard, actually.
I heard that too, yeah.
Which would make more sense.
But those are rumors. Like, there's no substantiation.
Yeah.
And
no evidence given at any point.
We don't deal in that.
No. I'll briefly go through some other ones here. Not referencing Romulans or other non-dilithium tech. Thomas, they're a big part of the universe. Using the sphere data like it's 1000 in the future AI and dropped in any meaningful way. Giorgio murdered loads of slaves on the wreckage planet by destroying all the floating ships in which they said people lived on, just murdering people and we moved past it. And obviously they could have been empty, but they told us there were people on them. The San storyline went nowhere, did nothing, means nothing. It may have a plot to play in later seasons of a different show, but that means it's a flawed thing. It has no payoff this season. And sorry, if there's no payoff this season at all, and she's left the show, then you shouldn't have given so much time to it. You had to have a little bit of payoff. That was an absolute fuckover. If it's massive in Giorgio season 1, fine, but introduce it in Giorgio season 1 as a big thing. Have it as part of a set of flashbacks. Don't have it be a big thing and drop it. It meant nothing. Osira, as an entirety. Petrol explosions for impact. The Viridian spore drive discovery. Osira's death. And the Navarre fleet coming in and being meaningless. Those are my honorable mentions for season 3. There you go.
Nice. Don't really have anything else to add, but
yeah.
Fleet Pilot Swiftback, $2. Honorable mentions. Secondary characters still get no lines, but they did have tapping.
Yeah. Although actually, one thing, I know this is a bit of a random, but you just reminded me of this. One thing I'll throw in briefly. In the episode with Giorgio being got at by the holograms and talking to suit guy, rewatch that scene because when rewatching it stood out to me that the guy with the glasses doesn't blink much, but he blinked a couple of times at Georgia before she started blinking.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And like you don't like it might be an acting choice, but I think because the way that scene plays out is as if they're kind of talking to each other symbolically. So I actually think he might have like gave her the idea to blink because it's like it does stand out when you see it. Like he actually wanted to talk secretly,
And he
But
wanted to talk to her without the hollows there. Yeah.
yeah. So he gave her the idea.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but I think that actually kind of makes sense. He's in control of the situation. It makes sense. Yeah. Weird.
Barry Renshaw,
Hi,
5
Barry.
pounds. Hi, gents. Do you think the writers are prevented from being too cerebral in their storytelling? There's a lot of reliance on action, CGI, and melodrama.
In season 2, and yes, and season 1, yes, but not this season. There's been very little action and very little CGI in comparison to other seasons. I think this season, yeah, they've been a lot more cerebral, more character cerebral, like how do the characters all feel, than like universe cerebral. But yes, last 2 seasons, no, not for this season. But they're not making like smart Star Trek, and they know they're not. You know, like there was never season 1 is a very very dumb Star Trek. I mean, Enterprise isn't exactly that smart Star Trek either. You know, some smart episodes, but that's more for normal Star Trek. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I just think they, honestly, for the first 2 seasons, they had people that didn't understand Star Trek. Especially the lead guy in charge, Alex Kurtzman. But whatever.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah. All right. Well, interesting lists for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed them. I mean, if we can get another $11 in super chats, would be great.
So close. We're so close.
Wait a minute. Yeah. No. $21 is the number I was looking for, but that's okay. My math is off. My apologies. But if not, that's cool as well. We hit 212 likes. Can we hit 100 or 220? Can we get 8 more? Hit that like button. Be the last super chatter. The last super chat slot is now in Barry's hands. Barry Renshaw, which is a new name. So welcome, Barry. Thank you for super chatting. We really appreciate that.
Good to get to know you.
Yeah. And I hope we weren't too ranty in this one. I mean, probably were, but that's okay.
I think
and a lot of people are saying Lower Decks has dropped now in the UK, so everybody's scrambling to go watch it. If you do watch it, make sure you watch our reaction videos and review videos for it, because it was a fun show, and the numbers were down for those. I think it's because most of the world couldn't see it, so there you go. And Matt Boardman saves the day with $21. There you go, lads. Thank you so much, Matt. Very much appreciated. You are a superstar, my friend.
Also crazy, but I mean, hey, they go hand in hand
with us. Yeah,
this is true. Brilliant. So yeah, that is probably our last Discovery video. I think it feels apt to end on a Herbalife rant, one of the worst things of the season. Ha! And guys, look forward to I think 2 more Discovery pre-film videos. That'll be out, including this one, but with the math, which will be fun. And then yeah, go over some ships, some Star Trek Online stuff, some concept stuff, some guests. Get ready for some classic stuff. We hope you'll join us though. As you know, guys, lives are like 80% of our income. As silly as that is, and so these are brilliant. And you guys get us those numbers every time. It's really amazing. Hope you'll join us for the TNG reviews and other lives. Obviously, we'll see what people are interested in, etc. Maybe top 10s. That could be fun. I mean, certainly we can make 2 hours worth for a top 10. We've proven that by these 2. Doesn't do 10 each. Could be fun for sure.
Absolutely. And one more like, guys. That's why I was doing this. I want one more like. One more like. One more like. Yeah, I'm done now.
Okay. But yeah. We'll see you soon. And next week, start afresh in a post-Discovery world. Guys, we'll be post-Discovery. And those, like I said, who watch Lower Decks, come back and
watch it and enjoy it. And watch our reviews.
We're there waiting for you.
That's right.
Past us. We'll past us. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Yes. And next week we'll start our new live, whatever we're doing, reviews or whatever. So, yeah.
So until then,
He's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
We are Team Trekyards.
And Matt Borman wins last super chat. Well done. And 225 likes, 226 likes, guys. Oh, you got 7 more. Good job.
Ooh, nice.
Bye, guys.
Bye.